Welcome, Wall Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and there is Bob. Bob recently showed off a decontamination arch at the Starlight Drive-In during a weekly build video there. And if you're not watching the challenge videos, go take a look at those. They're pretty fun. I especially enjoy the videos by the other builders. They're doing a lot of great things. So this is just a box. It's a box that is to represent a doctor's office. And that's not terribly interesting, but what is kind of cool is this decontamination arch. It automatically resets itself, and it has some indicator lights to tell you when you're really decontaminated or not. So let's just go ahead and step in here. See, the red light turns on and the green light turns on. Once we're decontaminated, the red light turns off, and then we step out and it turns itself off. And if you're interested in learning how to build this, it is astonishingly easy. Let's get started. So I've gone ahead and torn all the lighting out and torn all the electronics off of this thing. I am not going to show you how to build the actual structure here. It's just a box, it's a background, and basically just to give a backdrop for the actual contraption. I'm gonna go ahead and strip the this wall out and the roof so we get some light in there, and this back wall so that we have some room to work. Let's go ahead and get a generator down so that we can have some power up in here. Let's put that down, and then we are going to need a few different switches and connectors. I want a switched power pylon. Let's put that down right there. I want a wall switch, and what else do I want? I want a delayed on and a delayed off switch. That's what controls those lights, those indicator lights. And I guess while I'm here, I'll go ahead and scrap that. Maybe scrap that. Let's get these kind of over here. So yeah, the delayed on, that controlled the green light. The green light turned on after a slight delay. Delayed off, that's not a delayed off, that's an interval switch. I don't want that. I want a delayed off switch because I want my red light to turn off after a brief interval. And I'm going to need a terminal to program the delay on those things. And I'm going to need a decontamination arch, which I'm just going to go ahead and set down outside. And I think that's everything that we need for right now. Go ahead and put some power to this arch because I want to show you guys something. You notice that the arch spawns with that switch in the off position. So you have to actually exit the build mode and hit that switch, and the game will save the state of that. So now we can remotely control that arch. And I forgot to put wires to my interval switches. Hang on. Go ahead and remove power to the arch. So now it's off. And if I put power to it, it's on. Means I can remote control it. Get some power to the terminal and power to the delay switches. And let's program those delay switches for a 2-second delay, which is just about the right amount of time to step through the arch so that the red light can cycle to the green light. Other thing I'm going to do right now is I am going to go ahead and turn off that pylon and this wall switch because I don't want any power on those circuits while I'm trying to wire them. It can mess up my lighting if I do that. Back into build mode. Let's go ahead and take those off. I'm going to set this terminal kind of over here because I'm going to wire glitch to it later. I'm going to take the decontamination arch and put it in my decontamination chamber. I'm going to spin it around so that the switch is on the back side and I don't accidentally hit it at some point. Quick note, the Decon arches don't like to go inside of the buildings that you make out of the wood and metal tab, but if you use the arched roof out of the metal tab, Decon arch goes right inside. No fuss, no muss, no glitching, no nothing. Let's go ahead and get this more or less centered up in here. There we go. And put our delayed off switch, which controls the red light, kind of on the side where the red light's going to be. And take our delayed on switch, which controls the green light, and kind of put it on the side where the green light's going to be. And all of our major pieces are now in place. Let's go ahead and start to wire this up. Actually, there is one major piece that I am missing, and that is located here in the conveyor belts tab. There are other options for switches that you can walk over, but none of them reset themselves. The only one that acts like a toggle is at the very end of the conveyor belts tab. And it's critical for this particular... Oh, Ada, you are just going to have to be moved somewhere. Get out of the way. It's critical that that this acts like a toggle. So every time I step through it, it goes on and off. I could use a pressure plate or something, but then I'd need a power counter to remember the state of the switches. So we're going to go from our pylon to our wall switch, and sometimes these wall switches don't like to let me... Come on. Okay, so we're going to double wire glitch this. So, and if you don't know how to wire glitch, go look at a channel by a guy named Dark Dally. He did a really good tutorial on wire glitching. So we go there, and we go here. And now we don't need these anymore. So what we're doing here is I'd like to be able to have radiant power for the whole building, and then also be able to turn this contraption on and off individually so that I don't accidentally mess up wiring or step through the arch and have power in circuits that I didn't intend to. And just to keep the wiring kind of neat, or at least as neat as I ever get, I'm going to put a conduit kind of back here, and I am going to glitch to that, and I'm going to put another conduit kind of back here and glitch to that. Here we are. Just go back over here. And finally, I want a wall conduit that's up kind of nice and high to power the arch itself. And there we go. Now we can glitch from the conduit through the wall to the arch. So let's look at what we've got so far. We have power that comes in to the pylon. That gives radiant power for the whole building. we've got this wall switch so we can turn our contraption on and off, and then the floor switch actually turns the arch on and off when we step through, and we've got power to the arch. And I've seen other people that do this kind of thing before, but here's where it starts to get a little bit interesting. There's a couple ways that we can add lights to this. Now the easy way, and the way that anybody can do, is to use cycling lights. So I'm just going to go ahead and put down a couple of cycling lights, and I'm going to go ahead and get some power on those so that I can fix the colors. Just glitch over to here, and there we go. And those lights are kind of not where I wanted them. Let's just go like this. And even though I said no mods, I'm going to slightly cheat and use place anywhere just to save some time. And then we're going to take that one, and we can get out of the build mode, and we can make that one red, and we can make this one green. Eventually, there we go. And then we can get back in build mode. And let's get rid of that wire that we glitched to the cycling lights and wire them up properly now. So get rid of that. Then we get rid of the wire in between them. And now we just go straight to these delay switches. So I'm going to take this up to the conduit that is powering the arch, and take this one up to the one that's powering the arch, and I'm going to glitch off of the delayed on switch over to this cycling light, and I'm going to glitch off of the delayed off, and oops, there we go. Go to this cycling light, and we now have indicator lights for our Decon arch. This is not what I showed in the demo, but this is definitely a very quick and easy way to set this up. Let me demonstrate how it works. First thing I'm going to need to do is get some power to my wall switch, and from the wall switch to here. And it looks like this switch spawned in the on position. So let's go ahead and turn that off. And here we go. It's ready to use. We just step through. I said we just step through. Oh man. Sometimes these laser tripwires can get a little bit irritating. It seems to matter how fast or slow you walk through them, and sometimes it helps to look at them the first time you walk through. So there we go. We got indicator lights, and the Decon arch turns on, and the lights flash, all with us having to push any buttons or do anything. It's just a neat little automated contraption. But that's not what I showed in the demo. What I showed in the demo were some wall lights. And this is where things may start to get a little bit tricky for some folks. Let's go ahead and turn off all of our power. Make sure that's in the off position. We turn this off, and we turn this pylon off. And now we're ready to do this with some wall-mounted lights. I thought about, maybe trying to say at this point, now it's time to nacho it up, or now it's time to nacho size this, or nachofy it. But I don't know. They all sounded kind of stupid to me. But one way or the other, we're gonna show electricity who's boss and do this the way I want to do it. So I'm gonna get rid of all the wires to these delay switches, and I'm going to go ahead and store the cycling lights. Now, I am going to use some XOR logic gates, or exclusive OR logic gates, as diodes, because while I'm setting up these lightings, I don't want power to backfeed from either of these delay switches. Now the way to use it, I think I'm going to do a tutorial on maybe just the XOR logic gate and how to use that as a diode. For now at least, it's in short, if there's only one input to an XOR and only one output, it means that power only flows one way, and that means that I'm not backfeeding to these different switches when I am trying to set up my wall lights. Now another little trick here is that we need a wall conduit, because this delay off switch has a timer on it and I can't place the light fast enough before the timer turns off. Now, everything that we have done so far doesn't really have to be done in order. But what I show you next has to be done exactly in the order that I show it to you, otherwise it will not work. Okay? So, let's kind of review. We've got our tripwire that comes up to this conduit. This conduit goes to the Decon arch, and both of these XOR gates, each XOR gate goes to one of the delay switches. Now, let's go ahead and get our lights ready to go. In fact, I'm going to stop here for a second and give myself an edit break just in case I manage to screw this up, because even I sometimes get this out of order. Okay, let's give this a try. So the first thing that I want to do is glitch the delayed on switch, which runs the green light to that terminal over there. Now, let's go put our green light down. There we go. Next step, step 3, is glitch the conduit connected to the delay off switch to power. And it's important that we do this without disconnecting the delay on switch. So we're going to get some power on that conduit. Okay. And now, step 4. Remove power to the delayed on switch. What that has done, it has locked this green light to that delay on switch. But we also have power in the conduit hooked to the delay off. And I should be able to set that red light down and have that turn on. See there? Next step is we can remove power from the conduit. And that should be it. I should be able to exit the build mode, turn on this power pylon. Nothing's on in here, right? That's good. That's what we wanted. I hit the switch and we step through the tripwire, and red light turns on, turns off, green light turns on. That's exactly how we wanted it to work. Awesome. And at this point, it's just a little bit of cleanup. I'm going to go ahead and turn this switch off. because the only power radiator that I want on right now is this pylon. Let's go ahead and get back into build mode one last time. And now we can put our walls back on the building. And I can put this wall back inside. This is part of why I took the roof off earlier, is with the roof off, that wall snaps right in. And now I can put this roof back in over here. There we go. And because this is the only power radiator in the whole area, I can go ahead and put some regular lights down. So put maybe just a hanging bulb there, and there we go. Sometimes you have to select, and that's odd. I must be just on the edge of the radius for that pylon. And then I think I had a wall light over here during the demo, so we'll just put a wall light down, and there we are. We are done. We have a decontamination chamber with indicator lights, and it all runs automatically just by stepping through it. And I showed you 2 different ways to do it, and I think I probably did it in less than 30 minutes. So yeah, that's how you do it. And if you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button down below. If you didn't like, please tell me why, so I can try and do better next time. And if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. My name is Nacho Bidness. I'm saying it's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.